Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Fanstoys FT40, the Fort Max, the FT40 Fort Max, and we're going to discuss a lot of questions, concerns, and things that we've been talking about with this FT40. This is a big, big deal, so let's get right into it. So this seems kind of crazy, but we were just having a conversation. I got a video about how big is too big, and we discussed that actually the size Fanstoys is making it is the exact size it needs to be, but we'll get into size here in a little bit. But we discussed this in a video. I'll link that video down below, and there were a lot of great comments in there, and really came down to the conclusion that, yeah, it needs to be around 4 foot. This is going to be a little smaller than 4 foot, but almost there. So it's almost the perfect masterpiece size. But we're going to get into size in a little bit because there's more question about that. The first question out of all of this, the first question is, why not Metroplex? And that's an interesting question. Now, Metroplex has been made by third party. There was the Make Toys, is it Make Toys Utopia? And that thing was extremely stylized and very, very small. Like a third of the size of what this Fortress Maximus is going to be. And if we made a Metroplex, of course it would sell, it would be great, and all that stuff. But the thing is that a lot of people discuss and argue the Metroplex is even bigger than Fort Max, even though we kind of associate them as the same size. But getting into this guy here, it would be a great one to make if they said, okay, we're going to make them both 4 foot and just follow Hasbro and how they did it. But this is the real reason I think they're doing Fort Max first. And it's so they can sell a bunch of these Cerebroses. Now, I've said it in the comments, and we've kind of talked back and forth with a lot of the viewers on this one, but I truly believe they're going to sell thousands of these. Maybe 10,000 of these Cerebroses. They'll probably do it in multiple production runs, so the first run will sell out, and then everybody's going to wish they had it. And even people who get Fort Max will probably have 2 of this anyway. They go in on the whole thing. Would probably have one that you're going to be on your Fort Max, and you're going to have the other one that's going to be on your shelf next to your Make Toys, and that would make sense. But this is a very nice looking head, and it's going to be a very awesome looking bot. And there he is. I'm hoping this is going to be a point of contention. Hoping he has a the season 4 paint deco is what I would like. But then again, there's the Japanese continuum, so then that's going to have a different paint scheme. So they're definitely going to have to make 2 different versions, multiple production runs. I'm in on the one for the US, the season 4, even though it's probably going to be less popular. I mean, who knows? So next point of the discussion is what's going to happen with the alt mode. Will there be a whole lot of accessories, or not really accessories, but will there be a bunch of functions in the alt mode, which I think there will be quite a few functions in this alt mode. It just looks like they got a lot going on, and who knows? But I know that the alt mode that we had with the Titan class one from Hasbro was very minimalistic when it comes to function, and the transformation really was just kind of laying down. This looks like there's doing a whole lot more. This looks like it's a lot closer to the G1 one, and to me, a whole lot better. And yeah, you'll need to have a transforming buddy for this. So the next question on this is price, and there's a couple of schools of thought on how much it's going to cost. We don't know yet. We're still in the early stages. But when we talk about price, we got to think about the Terminus Giganticus. And without any competition and nobody else making Omega Supreme, Fanstoys was going to charge 2 parts. One was going to be like $220 and the other was going to be like $240. So $460 or something along those lines. I actually don't remember, because when I saw the price, I laughed and said, no way. And then shortly after that, TX9 came out with their Gabriel. The TX9 Gabriel was going to be priced way lower than $300. So Fanstoys lowered their price to $360 or $350. Right now you can get them for $350. Now, if you just do simple math and say, okay, you double the size of that, that's $700. So a lot of people are doing. But if you double the size and the original price, you're looking at closer to $900. So 460 and 460, yeah, 900. So that's the way I see it. I think that the pricing is going to be closer to 900 than 700, and maybe even up to 1,000. So they're right now, as we know about this, we don't know a whole lot, and we don't even know how many parts it's going to sell in. And so you know, Terminus Giganticus sold in 2 parts. So it leads me to believe, and many others to believe, that Terminus Giganticus would be kind of their roadmap for how they would do this guy, and looking at this guy in 2 parts would possibly be 3 or 4 parts in a figure the size of Fort Max. Let's get into how many parts it could come in. So we could do a couple of things. Well, Fanstoys could do a couple of things. Fanstoys could do pair the arms up in one set, the legs up in another set, the torso in another set, and we already know the head is going to be A. The head is going to come out first, and we don't know about the rest of it. Now, it would make a lot of sense and be very logical if they did arms in one group, legs in one group, and then torso in another group. And here's why I think it would be logical. The reason is that the arms would share some parts with each other. The hands would be sharing parts with each other, or even reverse parts. But there would be a lot of shared parts and pieces in the arms and the legs because it is a symmetrical bot. There would be some differences to each one, but there would be a lot of shared parts and pieces. Now the legs the same way, and so it would make sense that you do a production run of the legs and the production run of the arms, and then a production run of the torso. Now it's possible even that the arms are built into the shoulder area already, and then that would be what you connect to the actual torso. So that could be a possibility also. But I mean, all of this is pure speculation, and if you go, there's 2 sites that I know of selling both the head and the body. Shozi is one, and the pre-order for that's $150, and then TF Direct has it also for pre-order. And so here's the thing, if you pre-order it from them, why would you want to pre-order for them and put the money down? And the reason is that you would lock in your ability to get them. So let's say they do sell it in 3 parts, and you get the arms, you get the legs, but they sell out everywhere on the torso. Then you're out. So I mean, that's the one reason I could think that people would want to secure the full body pre-order right now. But then again, nobody still knows how it's coming, so that is an issue. Next thing everyone wants to talk about, Unicron. So if you bought a Unicron and you paid your like $628, and then now this, what I'm assuming is $900 Fortress Maximus comes out, people are feeling like, well, now you just wasted your money on Unicron. And well, I don't think that, but before we get into that, let's look at the size. So I've lined these up to where you can approximately see the size differentiation between these. And heads up, I'm going to do another video with an actual prop, and we're going to have size comparisons coming soon. Hopefully by Saturday we can do a size comparison, a real world live size comparison. We'll be doing that. But I did the same thing with the cell barge. When you look at this here, okay, Fort Max is towering over Unicron, and Unicron towers over the old Fort Max, and so this all is kind of poetic justice in a way, but I don't see it this way. But the size of the Fanstoys Fort Max is roughly 43 to 45 inches, and some sites, some that have pre-orders, are saying up to 50. So it sounds like they're still trying to figure out the exact height and size of this thing, but it's going to be a minimum of 43 inches up to, according to some sites, 50. But I'm thinking at 45, so my prop's going to be 45. And Unicron will never be to scale. We'll never have the masterpiece scaling. And, well, this Fort Max is a masterpiece scaling. So if you're chasing a more scaled Unicron, then you're not going to ever get it to scale. It's just never going to happen. So I'm accepting of the HasLab one. Now, the thing I wanted HasLab Unicron most for was for the planet mode. And I just recently came across a clock at Sam's that's 30-inch, a 30-inch clock at Sam's. And just to feel what 30 inches feels like when you pick up that thing, that's going to be a big figure. And I barely have space to display this in the space I'm going to display this. And I'm finding new places to display good old Fort Max. But when you think about it, would you want Unicron to be a full 30 inches and then go up to like 55 or 60 inches with the rings? Is that something you really want? I mean, I know that we talk about that. Do you want that? Plus, this one's going to be 20 pounds. I don't know how heavy Fanstoys Fort Max is going to be. Is that going to be a 50, 60, 70 pounds? Who knows? So getting into the weight of this thing, I know that when I got my Fanstoys Phoenix, I was surprised about the lack of diecast in it. Now, there is diecast in this. There will be diecast in the Fort Max. But I can't imagine that would be the same level of diecast and the same weight ratio that we get with all the other Fanstoys figures, simply because he's so big. Because that would make that thing 100 pounds if it's the same amount of diecast they put in all of their other figures, if it has the same heft to it. Because Phoenix does not. Phoenix does not have the same amount of diecast ratio versus all of the other Fanstoys figures, because he's getting into the bigger one. And I don't have Terminus Giganticus. I've seen it in a lot of collections. I've never picked it up and felt the weight. I'm sure it's kind of heavy. I assume it's about the same weight, or around the same weight of the DX9 Gabriel like I have. But it seems like when they go bigger, they don't put as much diecast. And I feel they're going to do the same thing with the Fort Max. Now for a release date, which nobody knows, so it's all pure speculation, but I want to talk to you logically about this. If you think about the last TFCon that we had, and the reveals that we had there, and the reveals that we are just building upon, you look at this. So Acoustic Wave was exciting last time, right? It was exciting. We're nowhere closer to getting that. Well, maybe we are, I guess, technically, but it's not like it's coming next week or next month. So we've got all these figures. We have the Spindrift 2.0. Remember, it wowed everybody. And then we're still talking about this Thomas, which I'm hearing Thomas is coming late this year, early next year. I mean, I don't know 100%. But think about that. All of this stuff that's on Fanstoys plate, how long is it going to be till we get this thing? It will probably be 2 years. I'm guessing. If we get just Cerebros out within a year from now, I would be impressed. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying I would be highly impressed and very excited about it. Which is why I've already put my pre-order $5 down at Show Z for this guy, because I want to make sure I've got it. I want to make sure I get it. I'm probably going to get a second, though. As soon as I get it, I'll go, oh, I got to get a second. But anyway, there's one more point everyone wants to talk about. The other point that everybody likes to talk about is if they make this, they're going to have to make all the City Bots. I hear that a lot. But in reality, if they make this, what would they make next? If this Fortress Maximus goes over really well, I think that Scorponok's next. Even if we get the Titan, well, we know we're getting Hasbro's Titan one. But that's not the same. That's not on the same level. Which I'm still excited about the 2-foot Titan one. That doesn't steal my thunder. But if Fanstoys does one, it would be like 4 years out from now. Maybe 5. If they do one. And the reason I would say they would do a Scorponok is for this. Y'all remember Zarak? Zarak. Yes, Zarak. This is the reason, because you would have the Headmaster. You would have the Headmaster, and you would have that whole gimmick going on with that character and that figure. And it would be an awesome way to do it. The same way they do with this Fortress Maximus. Well, what do you think about all this? What do you think about Fort Max? What do you think about these issues? Now that we've had time to mull it over, to think about it, to discuss it with all of our friends, and where are you at? Are you already pre-ordering the head? Are you excited about it? Are you just going to get Cerebros and call it a day? Like, subscribe. Dr. Aaron Panger out.